Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
我们的节目提供多种语言，请看 suprememastertv.com/schedule。
I figured that if an alcoholic should quit alcohol and a cigarette smoker should quit smoking, then a food addict should quit food. I decided to get as close as I possibly could. And that was by quitting everything except one food, and the one food I chose was potatoes.
Continue watching to find out more.
Vegan is not about us only. It's about all others.
Oi mane bota means hi, how are you in Cape Verdean Creole, one of the languages of Cabo Verde. My name is Anselmo. The good-hearted people of Cabo Verde appreciate gentle and loving souls such as yourselves. Welcome to part 1 of our show, Getting Spud Fit with Coach Andrew Taylor, vegan. Brilliant viewers, do you know how big the market is for weight loss services? According to the market research firm IMARK Group, the global weight management market reached a value of $470 billion in 2021 and will grow at a compound annual growth rate of around 6.36% during 2022 to 2027. It's no wonder, then, that the story of Mr. Andrew Taylor, an Australian vegan weight loss coach and former elite athlete who lost 72 kilograms or 159 pounds of body weight by eating nothing but potatoes for an entire year, caught the attention of world journalists and readers, and he was named one of the top 100 most influential vegans of 2017 by Plant-Based News. We are honored to have Andrew Taylor on our show today to talk about his potato diet experience.
I've been vegan for a little bit over 15 years. Me and my wife decided to go vegan together in 2006. We initially went vegan for animal rights reasons, and you know, the health side of things came later.
In the past, Mr. Taylor always carried some extra weight.
I've been overweight my whole life. As long as I can remember, I got bullied as a little kid for being overweight. Luckily, it didn't get too bad because I was always bigger and stronger than everyone. Into my teenage years, and I was always into sport. I was very active, but I was always overweight. And I was training 4 hours plus per day, and I was still 5 to 10 kilos overweight all the time. No matter what I did, I just couldn't get down to a good race weight. When I became senior age, I was more like 30 to 40 pounds overweight. I just couldn't get that weight down. I also studied at university, and I got a degree in education, also a sports science degree in human movement. And I went on to become a physical education teacher. I was very good as a fitness coach, way to be a personal trainer, and I just never had the confidence. I knew I'd be good at it, but I just didn't look like a personal trainer looked.
Mr. Taylor continued to pursue his life goals, including having a family. When his first child, Teddy, was born, Mr. Taylor's life took a more challenging turn, as he describes.
When he was born, I didn't have time to exercise anymore. He was a really bad sleeper for about 1.5 years. We went through some really hard times. He was waking up every 45 minutes, literally every 45 minutes for 1 a year and a half, and I was surviving on 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night.
As a responsible husband and father, Mr. Taylor prioritized his wife and his baby boy's needs. He kept going without sufficient rest or food, pushing himself to the brink.
And I really threw myself 100% into that and just gave all of myself, and to the point that there was really not a lot left for me. Things just went downhill. So I was, at that point in time, I was crying most days. I didn't really understand why. I was just, at some point in the day, tears would come, and yeah, most of the time I was able to find some quiet space on my own, so nobody knew that was happening. My wife knew I was depressed. She knew that I'd been diagnosed, but I sort of kept those details from her. I didn't want to burden her or anyone else I knew.
One day, tears came when Mr. Taylor took Teddy out for a walk. It was the first time Mr. Taylor had cried in public. Teddy had just turned 2 and was worried for his dad. He tried to wipe his dad's tears away and told him not to be sad. Mr. Taylor managed to put aside his tears, and they played in the park together, which made Teddy happy. Later, however, Mr. Taylor felt a more profound sense of foreboding about what was still to come in his life.
On the walk home, I had this realization that it didn't matter how comfortable I was able to make life for my boy, he was going to become me. And that was a really scary thought.
Having been a teacher for over 15 years, Mr. Taylor has had many parent-teacher interviews that made him firmly believe the saying, "The apple doesn't fall far from the tree," meaning that children inevitably grow up to be like their parents.
The last thing I wanted for my boy was for him to grow up and be a big, fat, depressed, hopeless mess. I couldn't think of anything worse. I thought, I've got to do something. I have to make sure that it was all about my boy. Like I said, I just didn't want him to end up in that situation.
Vegan side effect: you will see life in a better color.
Compassionate viewers, we will be right back after this short message. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back, vibrant viewers. Mr. Taylor realized that although he had no control over his depression, he could still do something within his power to make other changes in his life. So he decided to lose weight.
I didn't know how to do anything about depression, but I knew that I needed to change something. I thought, okay, my boy's probably going to grow up and be depressed like his old man, but maybe I can find a way to lose weight. And then if I lost weight, at least he would be a skinny depressed guy instead of a fat depressed guy.
Knowing that a very active lifestyle doesn't necessarily result in keeping a healthy weight, Mr. Taylor chose to try dieting instead. After several attempts at different diets that didn't last, he eventually developed a meal plan he could stick to that included green smoothies for breakfast, salad for lunch, and something healthy for dinner. Everything went well for a month. He lost weight and felt much fitter than before. But when Mr. Taylor thought he deserved a slice of vegan pizza as a reward, things fell apart. He ended up finishing the whole pizza and eating vegan ice cream and drinking a soft drink as well. Afterward, unfortunately, Mr. Taylor fell into more regrets in the days that followed. According to studies, 45 million Americans go on weight loss programs every year, but 95% fail. One day he was sitting on his couch having a beer when he suddenly realized that what he had was a food addiction, and the only way to overcome it was to treat it as such, much like an alcoholic who needs to stop drinking. One can be a vegan and eat vegan junk food that does no good for one's health, especially when addiction to food is the problem.
I figured that if an alcoholic should quit alcohol and a cigarette smoker should quit smoking, then a food addict should quit food. And of course, we can't quit food entirely, but I decided to get as close as I possibly could. And that was by quitting everything except one food, and the one food I chose was potatoes.
Mr. Taylor did not choose potatoes by accident.
I did a Google search for the perfect food, and that's what I found.
A video of Potatoes, the Perfect Food by Dr. John McDougall, MD.
All populations of trim, healthy people throughout all verifiable human history obtain the bulk of their calories from starch.
I learned a lot from that video, and it sent me down the rabbit hole of research. So I read about this couple that's mentioned in the video, about this couple from the 1920s that did 6 months of only potatoes and things went well for them. I read about the Irish diet and how they ate mostly potatoes, not all potatoes, but very close to it. I read about Papua New Guinean Highlanders who eat nearly only sweet potato, and the Okinawan diet who eat nearly only sweet potato. I read about some prisoners of war who were fed only potatoes. I came to the conclusion that potatoes was the choice, and like I said, a big gratitude for Dr. McDougall for leading me down that path.
Dr. John McDougall, an esteemed American vegan physician, has been promoting a low-fat, starch-based vegan diet as the natural diet for humans. Supreme Master Television aired a show about Dr. McDougall in April 2022. Dr. John McDougall, Vegan, on the Natural Diet of Humans, Part 1 and 2. Full show free for download at suprememastertv.com. After doing his research, Mr. Taylor talked to his wife about his plan to go on a potato-only diet as a means to overcome his junk food addiction. She supported it fully, but only under one condition: he must have some medical supervision. She also suggested that Andrew write a journal during the experiment so that he could review it later. Thus, Dr. Malcolm McCoy, a local general practitioner and also a vegan, joined the project, and the much acclaimed SpudFit.com was born. We thank Mr. Taylor for sharing his personal triumph over food addiction and dedicating his efforts to bringing the weight control value of potatoes to the world. To learn more about Mr. Andrew Taylor, vegan, and his Spud Fit project, please visit spudfit.com.
Let's make joint efforts to promote a vegan civilization, spread vegan culinary arts, and more creative vegan-related works. Bring healthy vegan food to the kitchens of billions of families, and make our Earth become more beautiful and harmonious. Zen Lee, vegan.
Loving viewers, thank you for your company today. Please join us next Thursday, July 28th, for the second part of Getting Spud Fit with Coach Andrew Taylor, vegan. Coming up next is If You Are Good to Others, God Will Be Good to You, Part 1 of 6, on Between Master and Disciples, right after Noteworthy News. May all beings on our beautiful earth enjoy peace and contentment in God's grace.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VE.